U-boat.
We're Back is an animated film released back in 1993, produced by Steven Spielberg, who was also directing another movie about dinosaurs at that time, called Jurassic Park. We're Back would be labeled as the more kid-friendly dinosaur film released by Spielberg that year. So let's get this thing started.
It's taken 280 portions of brain grain to jumpstart that skull of yours, pal.
Brain grain was invented by a scientist named Captain New Eyes. Him and his assistant Zorb go back in time to the dinosaur age to gather dinosaurs and give them brain grain, which is a cereal that Captain New Eyes has invented, giving them intelligence and making them into friendly dinosaurs.
I'm sorry about the way I've acted. I was a real animal.
We all have regrets.
The scientist does this simply to bring the dinosaurs to modern time, to answer the wishes of hundreds of children.
A Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Rex? What? Why, Captain, that's me!
A lot of children down there in this one particular time that miss you.
After the massive success of the Don Bluth classic The Land Before Time, dinosaurs exploded in popularity through the late 80s and 90s. You simply could not escape them, and that wasn't a bad thing. Dinosaurs were everywhere. There was a countless number of cartoon shows and movies with these ancient reptiles. It seems everyone wanted in on this dinosaur craze. Even the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles couldn't resist getting in on it.
Nobody's gonna mess with us while we're on Dippy's back.
Dippy?
Yeah, Dippy the Diplodocus.
And what's that?
Hey, babe, I'm Louie. That there's a friend of mine. I got...
Louis is first seen in a wish bubble wishing for a friend. He has plans to run away to the circus to get away from his smothering mother, and this is when he meets the now friendly dinosaurs.
I think my name's Louie, but seeing you's giving me doubts about my brain.
He becomes friends with the dinosaurs, making his wish come true. He eventually meets a little girl named Cecilia, and the two of them quickly become close.
You see, my father's very business, and my mother's very social.
Feeling this neglect from her parents makes it easy on Louis to talk her into running away to the circus with him. It's easy to look at the Louis character and see some similarities in him and the character Jesse from Free Willy. But I also have other characters that instantly come to mind when I think of Louis and Cecilia. And this might just be me. I've never heard anybody else ever say this. But I can't help but to think of the little boy and girl on the Santa Claus movie, Joe and Cornelia. I just can't help but to wonder if the screenplay writer was watching the Santa Claus movie around the time of writing these characters. The animated film, We're Back, a dinosaur story, is based off of a short story by Hudson Talbot, released in 1987 by the same name. There are, of course, some differences between the two, like the brain grain in the movie is cereal rather than vitamins like the book. And in the book version, there is no circus and no wish bubbles. They simply send the dinosaurs to the 20th century as a prize for passing their academic tests. And characters like Louie, Cecilia, Professor Screw Eyes, Captain New Eyes, and Stubbs the Clown are all characters made just for the movie. We're Back, a dinosaur story has some dark moments, filled with very mature topics for children that will take them out of their childlike innocence and throw them into a psychological horror that will leave them terrified of what the real world has to offer. Loaded with scary imageries with dark shadows, skulls, black crows, and a terrifying Professor Screw Eyes who runs a horror-themed eccentric circus. And makes blood pacts with children.
There.
This blood pact makes him the owner of the children and all their thoughts, and also gives him the ability to control their behavior.
But the kids are mine.
Don't look so silly.
I can't help it.
And this was supposed to be the light-hearted Dinosaur Spielberg film of that year. I personally like the dark moments of the film. As a child, these moments were not so shocking to me, growing up in the childhood I did. And the visual style appeals to me. I've always liked dark colors and shadows in animated cartoons.
Monsters in the forest, they bet. They're gonna eat me.
We're Back is definitely not a musical, and that's actually a good thing. It just wouldn't fit this film. But it does have one number, Roll Back the Rock, written by James Horner and Thomas Dolby, performed by John Goodman. On the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade scene and by Little Richard during the end credits. And I have to say, I like them both. I have always felt that John Goodman can sing really well. And I like that style of music. I think for this movie, Roll Back the Rock is the only song the film needs. The twin brothers represent light and dark, good versus evil. One has a radio that shows wishes, while the other has one that shows people's nightmares. The characters are done really well, especially the voice acting, which is spectacular. And I enjoy seeing the bright colorfulness of Captain New Eye's environment on his ship compared to the dark and gloomy circus atmosphere of Professor Screw Eyes.
I get very frightened myself.
We're Back, A Dinosaur Story is a 90s animated film that bombed at the box office and had mixed reviews by critics. But none of that matters to me. It's a piece of nostalgia from my childhood that I highly enjoy. It's not a perfect animated movie without its flaws. But it's also a really enjoyable film that dares to take risks on being dark at times. And although it has the one song, it's not a musical. And I'm not saying I don't like a good animated musical, because I do. But it's also nice to get a cartoon film that is not loaded with a bunch of singing characters. All in all, I find We're Back, A Dinosaur Story is an animated movie that is a lot better than it gets credit for. And one that I will continue to enjoy for many years to come.
And that's the way it is.